Hello, welcome to Untitled Pedagogue channel. Today we want to look at subordinate clauses in English grammar. In our previous episode, we looked at the independent clause. So this is also a progress. For our objectives, we would look at what a clause is. We would define what subordinate clauses, which are also called dependent clauses. We will identify subordinate clauses in writings. Then we will look at the benefits of knowing about the subordinate clause. Let's begin. Now, a clause is a group of words that has a verb and a subject. Thus, there will be no clause if the sequence of words do not have a subject and a verb. There are two types of clauses, and that is the independent clause and the dependent. That is the subordinate clause. Let's take a look at this example. Linda went to the hospital yesterday. Now, is this a clause? Let's find out. Does it have a verb? Yes, that is went. And does it have a subject? Yes, Linda is performing the action. So this is definitely a clause. Now let's look at another example. Nathan ate hurriedly. Yes, it has a verb. That's the action to eat, ate. And Nathan is the one performing the action. That is the subject. Then the rich man was kind even though he lost all his property. What are the verbs here? We have was and lost. Having two verbs here tells us that perhaps this sentence has two clauses. And yes, it has two clauses. So let's look at the subject for the first one. That is the rich man is the subject performing or being in the state was. And then he is performing the action lost. So he is the subject. Let's take a look at these other expressions. As soon as possible. The young beautiful princess is here because of the golden ring. Now you realize that there is no verb in these. And so we can confidently say that the following are not clauses because there is no subject and verb. Now let's move on to the subordinate clause. So a subordinate clause is a clause that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence, but it needs to be attached to the main clause, that is the independent clause. Also, it does not express a complete thought and needs to be attached to a main clause or a phrase or a word in a sentence to give a complete meaning. Some of the types of subordinate clauses are the noun clause, the adjectival clause, and the adverbial clause. Now let's move on and look at how we can identify a subordinate clause. How to identify a subordinate clause. So when the clause begins with a simple subordinating conjunction or a complex subordinating conjunction, so usually we call them subordinators at some point. A subordinating conjunction is a word or phrase that links a dependent clause to an independent clause. It shows there is a relationship between the clauses and adds information to the other clause. Okay, so here are some examples of subordinate conjunctions. After, once, until, although, since, when, as, rather than, whenever, because, where. And the complex subordinating conjunctions: as long as soon as far as, assuming that, granted that, saying that, in order that, such that, so that. Actually, it goes on and on and on. These are not the only subordinating conjunctions that we have. Now let's take a look at some examples and how we can identify a subordinate clause in these writings. Example 1. We went for the party after they visited. Now there are two verbs here, went and visited, so we can say there are two clauses here. Now to identify the subordinate clause, let's look at which of the clauses begin with a subordinating conjunction, and that is after they visited. So to be able to identify the subordinate clause, once you note that after is a subordinating conjunction, then it's easier for you to identify it. We look at our next example. Although she was sick. Now we know that this clause begins with although, and although is a subordinating conjunction. So although she was sick is a subordinate clause. Our next example. As soon as you see Taisha, give her my book. Here as well, we have two clauses. How do we identify our subordinate clause? Now, if we say that it begins with as soon as, and as soon as is a subordinating conjunction, a complex one. So, our subordinate clause is as soon as you see Taisha. And definitely this cannot stand on its own. Our next example, if you visit Isaac. Of course, this doesn't give a complete thought. And you realize that it begins with a subordinator, if. So it is a subordinate clause. Let's go and look at other ways to identify a subordinate clause. Note that subordinate clauses, they can also begin with relative pronouns such as that, which, who, whom, whichever, whoever, whomever, and whose. Now let's look at some of the relative pronouns that we have. People also say interrogator to interrogators, who, when, why, whose, which, what, where, how, whom, whoever, whichever, whenever, wherever, whatever. Now let's continue. So spotting these words can tip you off that you are dealing with a subordinate clause rather than a main clause. We look at some examples. Whatever Jaden told you, I don't agree with it. So here we find two clauses. Now how do we identify our subordinate clause? We try to look to see if we can find an interrogator or a relative pronoun beginning it. And that is whatever Jaden told you. Again, this does not make complete thoughts, so it is a subordinate clause. A second example, the lady who danced at the party is my friend. Here again, to identify the subordinate clause, try and identify the relative pronoun, and that is who. So the subordinate clause is who danced at the party, and that is a subordinate clause. The rest of the sentence, the lady is my friend, is the independent clause. So take note. Let's move on. Look at other ways we can identify a subordinate clause. Again, you can identify a subordinate clause if the verb in the clause begins with one of the following forms. And so let us take a look at it. The forms are here. 1. The infinitive form of the verb. So the infinitive form of the verb, example, to kill, to respond, to speak. So anytime the clause is beginning with the infinitive form of the verb, that is to, kill, to, and the verb, then you should note that that is a subordinate clause. Again, to, if the continuous form of the verb begins the clause, and the continuous form is also the ing form of the verb, killing, responding, speaking. So if you realize that a clause is beginning with the continuous form of the verb, then it is a subordinate clause. Also, if it begins with the perfect form of the verb, example, killed, responded, spoken, then you should know that it is a subordinate clause. Let's move on to our examples. To kill a cat, you need to put it in a sack. So here, to identify your subordinate clause, you realize that it begins with the infinitive form of the verb kill, which is to kill a cat. So that is the subordinate clause here. Let's take a look at our next example. To respond to the question, I have to download the file. How do we identify the subordinate clause here? It begins with the infinitive form of the verb respond, that is to respond. So the subordinate clause here is to respond to the question. Let's look at another example. Speaking frankly to Dave, she broke down in tears. So here again we'll ask ourselves how to identify the subordinate clause. You'll realize that it's beginning with speaking. Speaking is the continuous form or ing form of the verb speak. And so our subordinate clause is speaking frankly to Dave. Our next example, killed by the opponent, the army fled from the battlefield. Now, we realize that to identify a subordinate clause, we need to find out if it begins with any of these forms of the verb, and that we have killed by the opponent. Killed is the perfect form of the verb kill, and so killed by the opponent is the subordinate clause. And again, it cannot stand alone because it does not make complete sense on its own. Let's move on and take a look at the benefits of knowing subordinate clauses. Well, you can combine two ideas in a sentence. That is, if you know about subordinate clauses. So let's look at these sentences. Mercy cried. The lion jumped out of his cage. These sentences are related and we want to put them together. That is, we want to combine them. So you can combine them to express exactly what you want to say. Now, what do you want to say? Mercy cried when the lion jumped out of his cage. You realize that in joining it, we have used when, a subordinator. So here, we realize that when the lion jumped out of his cage is our subordinate clause. So you're using whatever you learned from subordinate clauses to help you to join these sentences. Again, if we rewrite the example above so that the two ideas are flipped, the wrong information is projected. Let's look at it. The lion jumped out of its cage when Mercy cried. So here, having flipped it, we have when Mercy cried being our subordinate clause. But is that the meaning you want to express? So take notes that if the two ideas you are combining have unequal importance, save the most important one for the end of the sentence so that your reader remembers it best. Just like what we see here. When the lion jumped out of his cage. Okay, let's move on and look at some other benefits of knowing the subordinate clause. It helps you to punctuate carefully when the subordinate clause begins with a relative pronoun. So let's take a look at this. When a subordinate clause begins a sentence, it has a comma after the clause. When the main or independent clause begins the sentence, there is no use of comma to separate it from the dependent or subordinate clause. Let's take a look at this example. You need a loudspeaker to address the whole congregation. You need a loudspeaker to address the whole congregation. This has two clauses. You need a loudspeaker, 1, and to address the whole congregation. Our dependent clause here is to address the whole congregation, and it does not begin this particular sentence. It is the independent clause, you need a loudspeaker, that begins. Therefore, we do not need to bring a comma after you need a loudspeaker. So if we flip it the other way to make our subordinate clause begin the sentence, then we will be required to use a comma. Let's look at this example. So to address the whole nation, comma, you need a loudspeaker. This is because we have our subordinate clause beginning. Let's take a look at another example. I have eaten the food since I can't wait. We have two clauses here. I have eaten the food, our independent clause, and since I can't wait being our subordinate clause, because again it begins with a subordinator, since. Now if we flip it so that our subordinate clause begins it, then we would be required to bring a comma. So since I can't wait, comma, I have eaten the food. So it is very important for you to know about subordinate clauses. And this brings us to the end of our lesson on subordinate clauses. And I do hope this lesson was useful to you. Please put in your comments and questions and I'll respond to them. Do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Until I come your way again with another episode, keep learning and be the best version of yourself.